Good morning. Got back from the dentist and went to the hardware store. Ooh, how's that sun? And picked up some materials for the fence. So I got a bunch of conduit, and I've got my tools loaded in here. Wire, I need to grab some wire. I got a couple of these guys here. Got to start up the old girl today. Just got to air up the tires, check the oil. I'm going to grease everything, and then I need to load some concrete and the concrete mixer into the bucket, and then I'll drive it over to our little cabin. And I got to do some road work first and kind of fix the road, get the road how I like it, and then I'll pick out the final spot for the gate. And I'm planning on pouring a big concrete anchor and setting those posts in it, and that way we don't ever have to worry about the gate swaying. Well, that's another thing I need to grab. I need to grab some material for those posts. Hopefully we have enough. And then I'm also going to install some lighting down there. Lots of stuff. So ideally this would take a couple hours, but this will probably take a couple days. So anyways, lots of work, but at least I get to use the tractor, so that'll be fun. There, I got most of what I need. I had some cutoffs from the 6x6 posts on the house. These guys, but I think they might be a little too short. But anyways, I'll walk you down the road here before I start working and give you a before. So eventually the sawmill is going to go right down in there. So the road down to the sawmill will go right through here. I'm going to take out all these trees here. I'll probably leave this old growth stump here because there's a couple cedars that are tied into this old growth stump, and then another big stump here, and from there to there is like probably 15 feet of just solid stump. And then these cedars here might even be a part of it too. So I don't know, I'm going to try to push this whole mass over into the field if I can. I'll kind of dig around in the dirt a little bit and then just try to push it all over. It's all kind of leaning that way. And I'll just get the tractor right up here and see this road there aren't any ditches on either side, so all the muck and stuff just builds up in the road here. So I'm going to try, and there's not much room here between all these trees to add ditches, but I'm going to try to clean it up a little bit if I can. I'm tired of looking at this ugly mess, so I'm going to tear some of that down. Anyways, yeah, I'll just keep on, just come down here and just kind of scrape off all this. There's just like a layer of slop. Yeah, I'll just scrape down the middle here. I mean, there's not a lot of material on the ground, and we also had dumped, when we first moved in, dumped like 2 or 3 inches of this stuff, this 5/8 minus. We got this whole issue here, like a big puddle forms here. You can tell by all the reeds. I'm going to try to smooth this back and contour this a little better and make this an honest ditch that can drain out basically to the center here. And then I'll make sure this is formed a little better to make sure that water can drain down. And it doesn't seem to be eroding it much. But it is forming these potholes here. And so if I can just get a ditch that'll take the water to here and then just transport it over the surface to that ditch down there. And also this road here, there's no ditch here, so the water, you can see someone's tried to scrape it and make something here, but it's just not enough. And so the water flows across the road and creates little potholes and stuff. So I'll come in here and dig this out a little bit so that we get the water just to flow nicely down and not down our road. I got to fill in this pothole. I'll just scrape this road down a little bit and just drag some of the rock down and fill in this hole and just kind of lightly regrade it. Once all that's finally done, then I'm thinking the gate will go maybe right up in here. Anyways, I think this will be a good spot because it's far enough away from each turn. It's basically halfway. So the turns are where you need a lot more room side to side. It's going to have a keypad too, and so if it's a 12-foot, you probably have the keypad like right in here. Maybe right here. And the gate right up there, and you just pull right up. Beep, beep, beep. The gate opens, and there you go. And this way big trucks can pull up, make the corner, and call us for deliveries or something. And that way they're out of everybody's way if it takes us a little while to get over here. Yeah, so I'm going to try to cut all this slop out here and create a place for the water to go. And same over here. Hopefully this ground is firm enough. Should be okay. But there's just a ton of stuff here. Then eventually when I make that clearing, I'll come back and grab this stuff and pile it up a little better into a compost bin and eventually turn it into soil. My neighbor Carl told him to go ahead and dump all his yard cuttings and stuff. So he's got piles all along here. I told him eventually I'll scoop it all up into big giant piles and turn it into soil or compost. But I've just been too busy with the house. But anyways, I think that's what I'll do. I'll start here, and that'll be my area to dump all this junk that I scoop up. And eventually I'll kind of scrape all this out and contour that hill and do all the things I said I was going to do. Avery's dying to see me use the tractor, so I'm going to do a little work today. was a lot of work. So it's relatively flat. It's hard to get it perfect with that backhoe. I built this up at least about 6 inches, and when you bend down it, you can see that the road is now higher than the ditch. I'm definitely gonna have to order some gravel to dump on here, because that last batch I dug out here and spread on the road is pretty, had a lot of soil in it. Had a lot of rock, but still some soil in it. But no matter. It's roughly about where it needs to be. I can scrape a little bit more down from the hill and bring it down just to continue. You can see there's a little low spot right before the hill. And then I gotta make this ditch a little more prominent. I'll come and do that with the backhoe bucket and scrape it, and then I'll dump that junk, dump it back there. I really need to get a laser, but it sure looks like I got it pretty good. Looks like the water should drain right out here, and it might puddle a little bit. It'll fill up, be like a couple inches deep, unless I dig this out a little bit more, which I might. The water should just flow right through here without giving us a ton of potholes anymore. Problem is just right under the surface, there's these huge rocks and big round rocks from when they originally made the road. So it makes it hard to really get it nice and smooth when it's just all big rocks under there. I've got just like a couple inches of this 5/8 minus, and that was not enough, of course, to smooth all this out. But I'm gonna get it as good as I can, get the dirt as good as I can, compact it. It'll be a little bumpy, but then we'll dump a nice load of gravel right in here. And then this road should be really good. Still gotta figure out what I'm gonna do up here. There's not much room to go wider, so I'll just probably clean up the sides just a little bit, go like, maybe a foot or two on each side, just to widen it a little bit. And I can clean all this out here, no problem. And I could probably widen this a little bit, but it turns into quite a bit of dirt. Yeah, and then the gate. Oh. Every project is enormous around here. So that does it for today. I'll pick it up tomorrow, probably with some more backhoe work. Because why not? Because that's pretty fun. I'll just get it to the point where we should be able to put the gate in, no problem. And I can start forming for the concrete. That's gonna, and then I'm gonna drop some post base in there, and that way we won't have any wood underground. It should last longer that way, especially in the spot it's going. It doesn't get like any sunlight, so it's just gonna be wet and damp the whole time. So that's that. I'll see you tomorrow.